You know, I make a lot of videos about, you know, house memories, and, you know, I've lived in the same house here for all my life practically, and, you know, I've got tremendous memories here of my folks, and you know, just lots of memories over the years. My folks are both deceased now, and I miss them very much, and, you know, everywhere I look there's a memory, but one that I was thinking of is happened almost right where I was standing. I was 9 years old. It was 1968. And I remember I was sitting down on the floor. I was playing with Matchbox cars, and for some reason I was off from school that day. I must have been sick or something. But anyway, the phone rang, and my mom answered the phone, and you know, I got a really strange feeling when she answered the phone. And gradually I saw her saying, like, "What? What are you talking about? Who is this?" You know, and then, you know, hung up the phone and, you know, started running and said, "We've got to go to the hospital. Your father," the person on the phone said that your father had his finger cut off at work. Now, at the time, my dad had recently retired, and so he wouldn't have been at work, but it was a possibility he would, because he was going to be going down there and visiting some of the gang at his shop. So my mom was in like hysterics, you know, and you know, called my Uncle Lou and the neighbors, and we went up to the hospital. He was nowhere to be found. So we're driving like all around the neighborhood trying to find where he is, and you know, this was probably went on for like an hour. And one of the very few times my dad had left and not said where he was going. You know, he probably mentioned to my mom something about, you know, he was going to take a drive or go to the store, but, you know, she might have not have been paying attention at the time, and you know, like I said, it was one of the very few times that she didn't know exactly where he was. Well, anyway, you know, he gets home here, and, you know, my Uncle Lou's over, the neighbors are over, and my mom, you know, comes running to him, "Boy," you know, and hugs him, you know, and I'm running up to him, I'm checking to make sure, you know, like all his fingers are intact, you know, and, you know, he's looking, you know, like, what the heck is going on here, you know? And so my dad was explained like the whole story, and you know, thankfully everything was fine. And I remember my Uncle Lou saying, you know, sometimes, you know, people will make a prank call like this to get you out of the house so they can rob it. So the absurd part about this memory is, I remember, and this is even immature for a 9-year-old, I remember grabbing my big Winchester rifle, and I ran downstairs, and I'm like, you know, holding this thing, checking to see if anybody had, you know, broke in, and if they're hiding somewhere, you know, and like, you know, like I got this lethal weapon here, and this is going to be, you know, do a lot of good. But anyway, that's just a memory I had there. It was a really absurd thing to do. And, you know, I have some prank phone calls in my other YouTube videos that myself and some of my teenage friends during the 70s when we were growing up had made. But, you know, nothing mean like that, but, you know, it's an interesting thing. I can still remember the name of my mom said the guy that made the call gave, and the name was Al Bergerus, and I never forgot that name. So anyway, that's just a little memory I have of just looking down like this right here, because I'm standing right where that memory I have occurred. Well, thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.